know what else you guys are coming here for. We only talk about X-Men 97 24/7. But this week was interesting because I want to talk about this because it's full spoilers ahead. If you've not seen episode 4 of X-Men 97, go watch it, come back. But this new one was called Motendo / Lifedeath Part 1, which is interestingly a 2-part episode in the fact that it showed 2 different episodes within its running time. And one of those is a 2-part episode in and of itself. So very interesting structure here, but I can't complain because it was like 2 opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of storytelling, right? The first one is Jubilee's 18th birthday, and they want to play video games at the arcade. Magneto won't let them, so they get sucked into their Super Nintendo run by Mojo. I loved the 16-bit animation they threw into this, Mike, at certain times.
Oh, yeah. Whenever they cut away to, what the arcade game would look like, I was like, oh, this is really fun. This is exciting. This episode felt the most like a Saturday morning cartoon episode to me, where like they're appealing directly to the child in me with the video game aspects, but the story feels like it's maybe, I don't want to say less important, but since we didn't really get a conclusion really of any of the story arcs, well, maybe Jubilee's a little bit. That kind of came full circle.
That and what's his name? The kid, Sunspot. At least welcoming his powers a little bit, right? He's warming up to using his powers was the point of it, but it wasn't like the stakes weren't very heavy at the end of the day, right? We knew everybody was going to get out of the Nintendo game at the end of the episode, right? I had no doubt everyone was going to live through this at the end of the day.
Mojo looked really wild, like we keep reporting, and every week our partners are really enjoying the show, but they don't really have any nostalgia for the previous version of the show back in the day. So my wife is just like, who the hell is this ugly dude?
Yeah.
like, and he shows up like on Ozempic at the beginning of the episode.
He's like so skinny, and I'm looking, I'm like, oh, maybe this is Mojo's redesign, and I'm like, oh, I understand why. By the end of the episode, when he gets the likes and the views, and that makes him fatten up right there at the end. So
yeah, he's so creepy looking, like especially with this kind of slightly updated animation style where they can like really kind of bring those like details and like line work in. It's like, yeah, this dude is freaking creepy. I don't like looking at him.
Oh yeah, and he's a returning character from the original X-Men 94 show, so no stranger to a couple episodes there. But the idea is that he's in a universe where he is feeds on people's entertainment, right? If they're watching the show, he feeds from it, becomes strong. I enjoyed the Super Nintendo aspect. Someone was having a good time writing this short episode and then also visualizing it, right? Because I have a lot of X-Men fighting games that are side scrollers for like Sega or like Mutant Academy or just the X-Men games or like the X-Men arcade game, right? The side scrolling, one that's like Nintendo. Like I have so much nostalgia just playing those games. This was great to look at. Like I was like, oh, there I am. We're back having a good time at the end of the day. And then it was also cool, and I don't know how you feel, but like, Jubilee learning from her future self what other powers or what more she can do with her fireworks other than just blast fireworks at people's faces.
That was cool. I mean, the continuity and the story and the timeline of the episode was a little harder for me to follow because at the end it's revealed that like the older Jubilee is like actually like a digital clone, I guess, is kind of how they were saying.
This is very similar to the Matrix. Yeah, like so Mojo to beta test this game created a AI version of Jubilee, and this is the one who lived the longest and got away in the AI. So
I felt like they maybe could have like streamlined some of that in some way, but still, it was really, really cool to kind of see her using all of her advanced versions of her techniques to kind of see what does like a mature seasoned Jubilee look like, which we've yet to really see. I don't know if they've explored Jubilee in more length in like the comic books of her character getting older, but we've kind of known her perpetually as like a teen from the mall. So that is really fun to explore and see. And there's some cool, great, slick animation in that fight scene. They're like chopping Mojo's like legs off and stuff. Cool stuff.
I love when Sunspot uses his powers and it has like the crackling black dots from the solar, like the Kirby dots in motion. Just looks so cool. Like I can't get over that. So absolutely love that. And then the second part was the episode Lifedeath, which obviously we talked about this very early on in the first episode. Storm is not losing her powers forever, right? It was kind of a red herring, if you will. And then at the end of last episode, she meets Forge, and then Forge, is trying to help get her powers back. Come to find out, he made the bullet that took her powers away at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, I don't think he literally made.
He helped the humans accidentally, but he didn't know he was going to use the bullet like that. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and he can't. How can you stay mad at Forge? He's got the shortiest shorts I've ever seen. He's got the mustache. He's got it all going on. I really like his mutant. Yeah, I really like his mutant power because it is very adaptable and useful. Whereas, like, you're looking at someone like Scott Summers, he has to solve every problem in his life with his laser beams.
Yeah,
like,
he's got to wear sunglasses. Once he forgets his sunglasses, he's done. He can't go anywhere.
Yeah. He's got no other solution except blast it with his eyes. That's the only way he can fix stuff. Forge can come at it from any angle. He can invent anything. He can make anything. Like, yeah, he might. I'm sure he's trained in combat. I feel like every kind of
he makes a lot of weapons in the comic books. He makes a lot of weapons. Yeah.
Yeah, but like he makes the most sense for Storm to go see. I don't know if historically these two characters align in a romantic way, but it makes sense for them to kind of get together. He's there to help her. There's a connection there.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Like, I'm curious. I'm curious what, like, this vision, this demon owl is supposed to be. Is it like a projection from another mutant? Is it just all in her mind? Is it like a vision quest? I'm not really sure exactly what.
Well, to me, it seemed like a character called the Shadow King, who was the villain of, like, Legion, a mutant who feeds on, or is essentially just a nightmare kind of mutant. Like, it takes over people's minds and, like, controls them that way. So I think it's Shadow King if I was to pick a mutant out of a lineup offhand, because I think he was also teased in some of the character models when they did this at San Diego Comic-Con a few years ago. But this is a part one of this. It kind of leaves that mystery, like, who is this, what's happening, did she get her powers back because she was riding that horse into the rain, and then she appeared back at the house and it was raining. So I don't think Storm's powers are gone for good. Again, I think that's a red herring, but it's going to be an interesting journey to get there. Not an easy one, if you will, where they just, drink a little cough syrup and she has Storm powers back at the end of the day. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a very, again, low key episode, if you will, like that part of it, like compared to like the high energy, high action stakes of Motendo. This was very much like a very slow kind of burn, if you will, right now. So I'm excited to see the second half of it. And I love Forge too. Forge is one of my favorite characters. Lately in the comic books, the X-Men era, for the past several years, they were on an island called Krakoa, which is actually mutant in and of itself, the island is. And he was creating weapons and technology using the island as the basis. So it wasn't technologically based, it was organic based weapons and technology, which was really cool. So I'm excited to see more of this. We're at 4 episodes in of a 10 episode season, and I don't feel like there's maybe, like, other than Storm's powers coming back, I don't feel like there's a big bad right now. Do you, at the end of the day?
Yeah, Magneto alluded at the beginning of the episode, we got to prepare in case, Mr. Sinister returns. So, but yeah, nothing seems to be more just like, is Magneto going to be able to kind of uphold his end of the social contract, you know?
What I also like about this episode, and this is nothing against, last week's was very much the Madeline Pryor Goblin Queen. How do we deal with the clone of Jean Grey? As a Saturday morning cartoon, you don't deal with those ramifications in the next episode. You just jump into the next sequence of events. I appreciate that about this show. They imagine you're watching them on Saturday morning, and you're like, I don't need to think about last week's. What's this week's episode going to be about? So I did appreciate that, kind of jump into it. But I'm sure we'll get the repercussions of Jean Grey later. Someone also sent me an intro screenshot. The introduction changed it where Jean Grey no longer has her hair down. She has it in a ponytail after the revelation that it was Madeline Pryor last week in the intro.
Yeah, I thought that was clever. I saw that as well.
So absolutely loving that. But yeah, more X-Men 97 is more happiness in my life. That's what I'm thinking here. So can't wait to see more episodes of what that has going for it. Mike, that's the end of the episode this week. If people want to know what you're up to, what you're doing, where can they find you at, my friend?
Yeah, they can find my webcomics at Life